Before we begin, I just want to say thank you so much to all my amazing subscribers. Your love, your comments, your time, it means everything to me. If you are new here or returning but have not yet subscribed, please hit that button now. Your subscription is the fuel that keeps this channel going. And please, do not forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts. I am always reading and responding. Now, let me take you into a story you will not forget. His lips were softer than I imagined. His breath was warm on my neck. And his touch, it was slow, careful, like he was afraid I would break if he held me too tightly. His eyes, deep pools of hazel, did not look like a boy's anymore. They looked like a man's, haunted, hungry, and heartbreakingly gentle. Every time he leaned in to kiss me, I wanted to pull away. I knew it was wrong. I knew it was unforgivable. But something inside me whispered, just once more. Kyle was not just my younger brother. He was the only person who ever truly looked at me like I mattered, even before I knew I was falling apart. His body, lean and athletic, had grown into that of a man while I was busy losing myself in a cold, loveless relationship. The way he would wrap his arms around me when I cried, the way he would rest his head on my chest and whisper, "You are safe with me," felt more than just sibling affection. But I buried those feelings. Until one night. I did not. I was wearing a thin silk robe. I had just come out of a hot bath. My fiancé was away again, business trip, another one. Kyle had come to stay the weekend because our parents were out of town. It was just the two of us. The tension had been building for weeks. That night, everything snapped. When he kissed me, I kissed him back. When he pulled my robe aside, I did not stop him. When he whispered that he had loved me for years, my heart broke because deep down, a part of me knew, I had always known, and I had let it happen. This is the story of how a single touch turned into a chain of nights I would never be able to forget. A secret that destroyed everything. A love that should never have been, and the consequences that followed. My name is Emily. I am a 32-year-old woman living in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Oregon. I work as a freelance editor, mostly from home, and to the outside world, my life is clean, ordinary, structured. But inside me, inside my house, everything changed the moment Kyle came to stay. Kyle is my younger brother. He turned 21 that summer. He is tall, strong, and devastatingly handsome in that way that gets girls staring and moms whispering. He was always close to me growing up. He clung to me more than anyone else. After our parents divorced, I became more like a second mother to him. That closeness never faded, even as we got older. But it was not supposed to become what it did. That night began like any other. The rain had started to pour, and thunder grumbled over the distant hills. I had cooked pasta for us, and we ate while watching reruns of some old sitcom. Kyle was joking, laughing, teasing me about how I never added enough salt to the sauce. It was easy. Too easy. When I went upstairs to shower, I left the door slightly ajar. I do not know why. Maybe I wanted to be seen. Maybe I wanted attention. Maybe I was lonely. My fiancé, Mark, had been gone for nearly 3 weeks. His business trips were getting longer. His calls shorter. His touches colder. I stood under the water, imagining it was someone's hands. Strong, steady hands. I imagined warmth, not just physical, but emotional. The kind I had not felt in years. And when I stepped out, dripping and wearing nothing but that silk robe, Kyle was standing in the hallway. I froze. He did not look away. Instead, his eyes traced my body, slowly. Not like a boy peeking at something forbidden. No. Like a man who had waited his whole life for this moment. I should have screamed at him. I should have slammed the door. But I just stood there, staring back. Later that night, I found him in the guest room, shirtless, lying on the bed with music playing from his phone. I told him goodnight. He asked me to stay and talk. My legs were trembling. But I went in. I sat beside him, then lay down next to him. We spoke about our childhood, how we used to play hide and seek in our backyard. How I had once covered for him when he broke Mom's vase. Then he reached for my hand. When he kissed my knuckles, it felt like fire. When he touched my face, my lips parted. And when he kissed me, I let him. I cannot describe it without shame. But I remember every breath. Every moan. Every second. He was gentle, yet sure. Nervous, but desperate. And the truth? I needed it. Not him, but what he gave me. That feeling of being wanted. Of being adored. Of being touched like I was the most precious thing in the world. And when it was over, I cried. Not because I regretted it. But because I knew. I would do it again. The next morning, I avoided his eyes. I tried to pretend nothing had happened. But the moment we were alone again, he kissed me in the kitchen, harder this time, more sure. And I kissed him back. It was not the last time. I should have told someone. I should have stopped him. But I did not. Because deep down, I was falling into something dark, forbidden, and I was not ready to climb out. What I did not know was that Kyle had secrets of his own. And the thing he wanted from me was not love. Not really. But by the time I discovered the truth, it was already too late. The silence between us the next day was heavy, but not uncomfortable. It was thick with unspoken thoughts, charged glances, and a new understanding neither of us wanted to admit. I busied myself cleaning the kitchen, folding laundry, and pretending like I was not replaying every detail of the night before in my head. But I was. The way he kissed me. The way his fingers moved like he had memorized my body in his dreams. The way I gave myself over to him, willingly, hungrily. It haunted me in the most shameful way. Because I knew it was wrong. But I wanted it again. And again. I was no longer thinking like a sister. I was thinking like a woman desperate for something she had been starved of for far too long. Mark had not called me that morning. Or the night before. It was becoming a pattern. When he did call, our conversations felt like checklists. Did the bank call? How is your work coming along? Can you send me the water bill? Never once did he ask how I felt. Or if I was happy. Or if I even missed him. That afternoon, Kyle knocked on the door of my office. I was sitting in front of my laptop, staring at a blank document for over an hour. He leaned against the doorframe with that look again, the same one from the hallway the night before. His hazel eyes, full of curiosity and quiet confidence, met mine. Do you want to go for a drive? He asked. I nodded. We drove along the coast, windows down, wind blowing through my hair. He played soft rock music, the kind our parents used to love when we were younger. It was almost peaceful, if not for the tension that lingered like static in the air. He pulled over at a lookout point just before sunset. The ocean stretched endlessly before us, waves crashing gently against the rocks below. We sat on the hood of the car, watching the sky melt from blue to orange. And then he touched my hand again. Not gently this time. Firm. Like he already knew I would not pull away. I cannot stop thinking about you, he whispered. My breath caught in my throat. I should have pushed him away. But I turned to him. And kissed him. This time, we did not wait until it was dark. We did not sneak into guest rooms or hide behind bedroom doors. We did it right there, on the hood of the car, under the setting sun. His hands found every inch of my skin. His mouth wrote poetry against my neck. I felt free. Wild. Beautiful. Desired. But when we got back home that night, the weight of what we were doing hit me harder than ever. This was no longer a one-time mistake. This was becoming a pattern. A dangerous, irreversible path. Over the next week, Kyle kept finding reasons to be alone with me. Mark extended his trip again, texting only once every couple of days. I stopped answering some of his messages. I was afraid my guilt would show through every word. Kyle started staying the night more often. He would help me around the house, fix things Mark had neglected, bring me flowers like I was his girlfriend. He was careful, but not careful enough. One night, while we were tangled under my sheets, I heard a knock on the front door. I panicked. My heart raced as I threw on a robe and told Kyle to stay quiet. It was our neighbor, Mrs. Hendricks, an older woman who always had something to say. She asked if everything was okay because she thought she saw someone in my bedroom window. I lied. I smiled and said it was just my brother visiting, helping me with some home repairs. She raised an eyebrow but nodded. I closed the door and leaned against it, my heart still pounding. Kyle came up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist. I flinched. "We have to be careful," I whispered. He kissed my neck. "I do not care if they find out," he said. But I did. And that night, I cried after he fell asleep. The guilt was growing heavier. Every time we touched, it felt more desperate. More intense. But also more poisoned. I could not eat properly. I lost sleep. I ignored calls from friends. I felt like I was living in a dream that was slowly turning into a nightmare. But I could not stop. Because the truth is, I had never felt so seen. So alive. So wanted. Kyle was not like Mark. He listened. He touched me like I was art. He remembered the little things. He held me like he meant it. But somewhere inside me, a small voice kept screaming, "This is wrong. This is sick. This will not end well." But I smothered that voice with moans and kisses and soft pillows and whispered promises I knew we could never keep. One night, as we lay tangled in sweat and silence, Kyle looked at me with tears in his eyes. "I have been in love with you since I was 16, he said. I froze. I used to fantasize about this. About you. About us. I never thought it would actually happen. I turned away. I felt sick. This was no longer just lust. No longer just a physical escape. He had feelings. Deep ones. Dangerous ones. And the worst part? A piece of me was flattered. I said nothing. I could not. Because the truth was, I did not know what I wanted anymore. Things started to change after that night. Kyle became more possessive. He started asking questions about Mark. He got jealous if I even mentioned another man. He wanted more of me, more time, more affection, more everything. But I was slipping. I started imagining what would happen if Mark came home early. If someone found a text. Or a photo. Or a strand of hair in the wrong place. One morning, I stood in front of the mirror and did not recognize myself. I was not a sister anymore. I was not a fiancée anymore. I was a woman trapped in a lie so dark, it was beginning to consume everything good I had ever known. And the most terrifying part? I did not know how to stop. Or if I even wanted to. They say secrets rot the soul, and by the third week of my affair with Kyle, I could feel mine beginning to wither. It was no longer just a thrill or an escape. It was an addiction. A sickness. And the worst part? I was complicit in every second of it. Mark finally called. It was a Tuesday afternoon. His voice was distant, like he was calling from another life altogether. "I am flying back this weekend," he said. "I miss you." I froze. The lie came quickly, too easily. "I miss you too." But I did not. At least not in the way a woman should miss the man she was meant to marry. Mark had become a distant memory while Kyle, my younger brother by blood and nothing else at this point, had become my present obsession. That night, I told Kyle about Mark's return. He stared at me silently, then stood up from the bed and began pacing. "So what does this mean?" he asked. "It means we have to stop," I replied, barely able to speak the words without feeling the sting of my own hypocrisy. "This has to end. He walked over and cupped my face in his hands. "No," he said. "We belong together. You know it. I know it. And you cannot pretend otherwise." "Kyle, this is not normal." "Then what is normal?" he snapped. "Living with a man who does not care about you. Pretending to be a happy fiancé while craving someone else's hands every night." His words sliced through me. Because he was right. But that did not make any of it less wrong. Mark arrived 2 days later. The moment I saw him at the airport, a wave of guilt washed over me so thick I nearly collapsed. He looked tired but happy. He smiled when he saw me, rushed forward, and pulled me into an embrace that felt foreign, forced. I smiled back, pretending everything was okay. That night, he brought home Thai food and talked endlessly about his business meetings and upcoming promotions. I sat across from him, nodding, sipping wine, smiling when appropriate, but inside I was unraveling. Kyle stayed silent all evening. He barely came out of his room. When he did, he avoided my eyes. I could feel the rage simmering under his calm surface. And then the storm came. It happened 2 days later. Mark had left his phone in the kitchen while he went for a run. I was folding laundry when Kyle barged into the room, holding my phone in his hand. "I saw the messages," he said coldly. My heart dropped. "What messages?" "Do not lie to me," he hissed. "You told your friend everything. You wrote it all in a text. You told her we had been sleeping together. You even said you could not stop." I had forgotten I had done that. One night, in a moment of weakness, I had poured my heart into a message to my closest friend. I needed to confess to someone, anyone. I needed relief. And now it was about to cost me everything. "I trusted you," Kyle said, his voice trembling. "I thought we had something real." "Kyle, I did not mean." He threw the phone onto the bed. "I am telling him," he said. "I am telling Mark everything." "You would not dare." His eyes darkened. "Watch me." I do not know how he did it, but that night, after Mark came home from dinner with his colleagues, Kyle cornered him in the living room. I had just stepped out of the shower when I heard yelling. I rushed downstairs, dripping wet, my robe clinging to my damp skin. Mark was standing, frozen, staring at Kyle with a look of pure confusion. Kyle looked at me, then back at him. "Ask her," he said. "Ask your precious fiancée how many nights she let me inside her bed." Mark turned to me. "What is he talking about?" he asked, his voice low, unsure. I opened my mouth. But no words came. "Answer me," he roared. I dropped to my knees and began to cry. Kyle stood silently in the corner, his arms crossed. Mark paced the room like a wild animal. "You slept with him?" he asked again. "With your brother?" I could not deny it. My silence screamed the truth louder than any confession ever could. He stormed out of the house, slamming the door so hard the frame cracked. The sound echoed through the walls like a thunderclap. I fell to the floor, sobbing. Mark disappeared for 3 days. I called. I texted. He never answered. Kyle remained in the house, acting as if nothing had changed. But something had. He was colder now. More calculating. Like he had tasted power and could not let it go. "You are mine now," he whispered one night, grabbing my wrist. "You said yes. You gave yourself to me." I pulled away. "I do not belong to you," I said. "What we had is over." His eyes narrowed. "If I cannot have you, no one will." Those words haunted me. I knew then that I was not just living with guilt anymore. I was living with danger. I waited until Kyle left for the gym the next morning. I packed a bag, took some cash from the safe, and left the house. I drove to a friend's place 2 towns over and collapsed on her couch, sobbing into her arms. She let me stay for 2 weeks. During that time, I called Mark every day. I begged for forgiveness. I sent letters, voice messages, even visited his office, but he refused to see me. I had lost him. Worse, I had lost myself. It has been 8 months now. Mark has moved out of state. He blocked my number and filed for a restraining order. I cannot blame him. I broke him in ways even I do not fully understand. Kyle? I do not know where he is. After I filed a police report for harassment, he vanished. Sometimes I still wake up at night, wondering if he will return. If he will show up at my door, whispering sweet lies laced with venom. As for me? I am rebuilding. Slowly. Painfully. Day by day. I go to therapy. I try to forgive myself. I try to forget the nights that once felt like fire and now burn like acid in my memories. And I tell my story. To you. Because I want you to understand that infidelity is not always simple. It is not always black and white. Sometimes, it is born from loneliness. From neglect. From wounds so deep, they make monsters of us all. So, to my returning viewers, thank you for coming back, even when the story hurts. To all my new subscribers, thank you for joining me. And to those who are still watching but have not yet subscribed, please do. Your support fuels this channel, and every story shared here matters more than you know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Until the next confession. Stay honest. Stay brave. Stay you. If you made it to the end of this story, I want to say thank you, from the deepest part of my heart. Sharing this was not easy. It was painful. It was raw. But it was necessary. Because sometimes, the most powerful stories are not the ones we are proud of, they are the ones that leave scars. This was not just a tale about forbidden love or betrayal. It was a story about loneliness, choices, consequences, and the kind of heartbreak that does not just bruise the heart, but fractures the soul. Maybe you saw a reflection of yourself in my mistakes. Maybe you saw a warning. Or maybe it just made you feel something real. Whatever it stirred in you, do not leave without telling me. Drop a comment. Share your thoughts. Your words matter. Your story might matter just as much as mine. I read every comment. I feel them. I learn from them. And if this story moved you, even a little, please hit that subscribe button. It may seem like a small click to you, but to me, it is the lifeline that keeps this channel breathing. Your support is the reason I can keep telling these difficult, emotional, and brutally honest stories. So, like, share, subscribe, and never be afraid to speak your truth. Because sometimes, it is in our darkest chapters that we find the strength to write the next one better. Until next time, stay